go.
Yabba dabba doo. Hey, listen, are we recording now?
Yes, we're recording.
All right. Welcome to
So
another Liverpool
professional.
Wait, let me do my bit. Welcome to another Liverpool podcast with Ed001 and Full Devil Ed 666. Today, we're going to chat Liverpool versus Arsenal and preview the upcoming Premiership clash versus Burnley at Turf Moor, and a lot more bollocks besides, I suppose. Mo Salah, running down the wing. Salah, the Egyptian king. You can tell I'm still in a Salah wonderland after the weekend, eh?
I actually thought you were in pain personally, but there you go.
How you doing, Mr. Burke?
Well, I was a lot better before you started doing whatever that thing was, making strange noises.
You miss me. You just don't admit it. All right, let's start with the Arsenal game, which the Redmen won 3-1. We played some erotic football, got the 3 points, a stellar performance, and top of the league. Can't ask for more.
You can't ask for more, but yeah, be greasy.
What more do you want, eh? That was lovely. 5
or 6 goals.
Now you're being greedy. All right, mate. I want to talk to you about Emery's tactics. He played very narrow with a diamond. Gave Robbo and Trent a field day. They had something like 30 crosses between them during the game, and I can understand Emery didn't want to give the front three any space, so decided that foregoing space on the flanks was the way to go.
Well, he's obviously just been watching Burnley play and decided to follow their tactical approach. Preparing us ready for next week as well. Because
you think it was a bit long ball?
Well, that's exactly what Sean Dyche does. Plays very narrow, keeps his players compact within the width of the penalty area, and just looks to deal with crosses when they come in. It's exactly what he does, and then hoofs it upfield for a big. Well, he hoofs it upfield for a big man. In Arsenal's case, they hoofed it upfield for the quick man in Pepe and Aubameyang.
Explain Emery's tactics, please.
Well,
why?
To me, it was like throwing in the towel before he started. To me, he just handed over the initiative and said, "Oh, go on then. I just want to keep the score down." But the thing I just don't get is, why did he not pick his 2 best players? I mean, you've got Torreira, their best midfielder by far. Why is he sat on the bench and coming on towards the end when it's already lost? And Lacazette, by far and away their best forward. Again, why is he sat on the bench and coming on when it's already done? It just makes no sense. Guy is useless, Emery.
To be fair, they both had an impact when they both came on off the subs bench.
But if they'd have started, they might have had an impact from the start.
Exactly. So why did he go for the diamond and not try and have more players in the midfield?
Do you know what? I really don't know, because it makes no sense. They haven't got the defence to be able to soak up pressure, so I don't understand. I mean, as we saw, they got battered because they just couldn't cope. They didn't have the right setup to deal with the situation at all. Emery's got to take all of the credit for how good Liverpool were, really.
But to be fair, this Liverpool team has so much weaponry, we can hurt you from anywhere. So, and also last season he opted for a 4-2-3-1 against us and lost heavily. And on Saturday he went for a 4-3-2-1 and still lost. So he clearly hasn't got the answers against us.
His team just isn't good enough, and he doesn't know how to set up a defence to cope with the front three. So,
but also in that system, Monreal and Maitland-Niles weren't supported in any way by their teammates.
No, they were
so the system wasn't exactly. So the system wasn't as cohesive as it could have been.
Like I said, it was based on the Burnley system, but they do that because they've got 2 big men in the middle who can deal with crosses. It's as simple as that.
Uh,
So they're looking
me
to
and
have, Tarkovsky and me to just clear their lines, and everybody else just throws bodies in the way. But, Arsenal aren't going to do that. They've got Luiz for starters. He doesn't throw his body in the way. It's just not going to work like that. Socrates
to
will,
be fair,
to be fair. But
Socrates.
Socrates, that's it. Sorry, that's
Socrates,
that's because of you
yeah,
calling him Socrates last week. Got in my head then.
I told you I influenced you, don't I?
Yeah, well, not in a good way though. But their midfield was hopeless. I mean, Sabalas, I said this before when they were all raving about him. I said, yeah, it's all very well doing it when there's nobody playing anywhere near you and you've got 20 minutes to pick a pass. But as soon as he's under pressure, he can't cope. The rest of their midfield was just completely overrun. I mean, Xhaka's just hopeless anyway. I mean, how does he get in the team? What's going on there? He must have compromising photos of every single manager in the world or something, because the guy is one of the worst players I've ever seen, and yet Wenger and Emery both kick him, and the Swiss manager.
I would love to see his pictures on his iPhone, because you're right, he's probably got a hell of a lot of compromising pictures. You actually did predict that Ceballos will be nullified by our midfield, so props to you for that, mate. To be fair, their midfield three did have a bit of luck. I mean, it was more luck than design, because Pepe should have scored after Hendo's ricket.
But that's a forward. Yeah, that's a forward from a long ball and a mistake. Yeah. And almost all their chances, in fact, all of them probably, I can't remember any that were actually created through good play. Can you? All of them seem to come from mistakes.
Yes, because the Aubameyang chance was a mistake by Adrian as well. So.
Oh, that was terrible again. Oh, God. Can't keep doing that.
Well, he's probably only got another game or two until Becker comes back. We'll talk about him later, buddy.
Yeah, I know, but it's just it's frustrating because Van Dijk had that dealt with. And then he's like, and he's having to just dive out the way quick before he takes out Adrian, like.
Matt, that's my problem with Adrian. He doesn't come off his line quick enough, and it just when he does, it just causes nervy moments, and there was the evidence. Going back to Emery, mate, because we're going to get to Adrian a bit later on. Emery's obsessed with playing from the back, but then they're complete novices at it. They were getting dispossessed by a press time after time, and it just looked really, really comical. Like they were like Keystone Cops defending.
You don't play out from the back under those circumstances. You go longer, and then you force the press to drop off, and then the next time you play out from the back. That's how you do it when you want to play out from the back. You have to earn the right. You make them drop off first, then you play out from the back. So it's Emery's own fault. It's too stupid. That guy is just... I just don't know why he's even in a job, to be honest. If his name was if it hadn't been that Wenger, it's anybody but Wenger, the Arsenal fans wouldn't be putting up with what they're watching. But instead, they make up these bizarre scenarios in their mind. When you read their site, they actually believe he's doing a brilliant job, and you're thinking, no, he's taken over the team, spent a huge amount of money, brought in much better defenders, they brought in much better midfielders, defensive midfielders that Wenger never had, and yet they still can't defend. They've even got a decent keeper now. Much better keeper, in Leno, and yet they still can't defend. They're absolutely hopeless at the back. So the problem wasn't Wenger. It's, this is something else now. But they still trying to look at it as if he's not Wenger, so it's all right. We'll just pretend it's better.
So you think the buck stops with Emery?
Oh, 100%. He's got a better squad there than is showing. That team should be up there challenging for the top two. Should be challenging to get close to the top two.
Really?
Well, yeah, the team, not the squad.
Right.
I don't think it's good enough
the team.
It's not good enough to challenge for the title. What I mean is, it's good enough to be challenging to be the next team on, so third, and keep on the coattails of the top two. That's what it should be doing.
They should be challenging Spurs for third spot.
Exactly.
I read something very interesting. In the in Emery's contract, there's a stipulation that Arsenal can fire him from the job at the end of this season and pay him zero compensation.
Well, if they don't take that up, then I don't know why. If they don't do something special the rest of the season, if he doesn't show he can turn it around, I can't see why they wouldn't take up that option. But aren't we supposed to be talking about Liverpool, by the way?
Yeah, that's what we are. Yeah. But just to finish with Emery, do you think he'll be there at the end of the season?
No, I can't see how they can keep him when they've spent that much money and brought in such good players. I mean, he's got Aubameyang, Pepe, Torreira, Ceballos. They brought in lots of players. They've given him everything they can.
Emery gets top 4 at the end of the season. Will they keep him or fire him?
They'll probably keep him, I think, wouldn't they? I think that's what they think is. But I don't think, personally, I think he should be coming third.
Fair enough. Let's get back to the game. The 25 minutes from the start of the second half, in my opinion, was the European champions in imperious form. Football from the gods. Finesse, graft, speed, supreme technique, nullifying and suffocating the opposition. They showed they can go up and down the gears, which bodes well for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I take your point. It was but I just thought the whole game from start to finish was a bit of a cruise, really. And it was only a matter of how much we'd win by rather than whether we'd win, which in some respects is disappointing. In other respects, is great because I never had the nerves I normally have during a game. Out from the start, you just looked at his tactics and you thought, he hasn't got a clue what he's doing here.
So as soon as you saw the diamond, you thought, right, we're winning this.
Well, it's not when you see it written down on paper. It could be any old formation. Let's be honest. When you see it on the screen, it's only when you actually see where they set up and play. When you saw them all so narrow, you're just thinking, this is going to be, this could be embarrassing. It could have been if Liverpool had actually gone for it. That could have been a cricket score easily. They just didn't bother. They just sat back and managed the game once they got a lead. Pick them off when pick them off at will,
Yeah, I thought Klopp said a lovely. He said a very interesting quote for me after in his interview. Said, "We are not Disneyland. We do not need to excite everyone in every second." I love that quote. For me, it shows how Klopp has matured, got to grips with the Premier League. He knows we have to improve our game management to become serial winners and win this Premiership.
And it showed in that game because it was a managed game. Once the lead was taken, it was just about taking as little out of your legs as possible to win it. And they did it. And it was at a canter.
Yeah, for sure.
Just need to cut out the silly mistakes now.
I just think those silly mistakes are... I think once Alisson comes back, I just think they'll be eradicated because we have that. I mean, again, I said we're going to talk about Adrian later on, but we have a keeper that's not used to the system, that's not used to the football club, that's not used to the players. These mistakes are going to happen, and it could have been, even if it was Lonergan coming in, I think he would have made the same kind of mistake. So I'm not too worried about that because I know we've got a world-class keeper coming back who is going to shore up that defence, give them confidence just by his presence.
It's not just Adrian that makes the mistakes, to be fair. I mean, it was quite a few of them were making silly errors, which led to chances. And it's been happening, all the time. But I think it'll come just in time as they get back into the swing of things. The errors will lessen.
It was last season, wasn't it? We didn't get into our groove till about Christmas, really.
Yeah, exactly. It's far too early to be judging them or anything like. But, once those errors go, though, we can really just stride away. Yeah,
absolutely. Just be formidable and
hopefully.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, mate, yeah. It's a joy to behold that even when we're not being aggressive and playing at full throttle, we can just still carve out opportunities. And, I mean, the last time I saw that was really, mate, probably under Dalglish the first time round, the late 80s.
I don't know that we ever really did that under Dalglish the first time round. We tended to just completely outplay teams under him. With the Beardsley, Barnes, they just tended to just rip teams apart rather than game manage. It was early 80s was when we were doing that.
Go on, yeah, and
but it wasn't
a
real peak.
Yeah, but this gives me such a beautiful feeling that I know that we can just step it up a little bit if we need to, when we need to. I know it's early on the season and I'm probably getting ahead of myself, but I really feel that we're building something real special here,
I certainly hope so.
Yeah, right. Salah's goal. Oh my God. He really does, excuse me. He really is a joy to behold. He's mixing up his play now. Not so selfish, but... What?
I was just going to check which goal are you referring to, because obviously the penalty was a piece of skill with the shirt he wore and everything just to win that.
Oh mate, we're going to get back to that. Is
I thought you were going to. I thought you might want to drop that one in.
No, mate. That I know where you're going to get into. You're getting to that David Luiz interview after
I thought you might want to drop that one in.
Mate, that must have been one of the most perplexing interviews I've ever heard. Honestly thought he'd freebase some crack before that interview. I'm going to paraphrase here, but he said, on giving away the penalty, he said, and again I'm paraphrasing, that Salah plays with an oversized shirt, so when you grab it, it makes it look worse than it is. What the F? Do you know what I mean? It's like, what's that about?
I just don't see how that's relevant. Anyway, if you don't pull it, it wouldn't matter anyway, would it? A shirt pulls a foul, so just don't pull it.
If Salah's shirt is oversized, yours must be a frigging duvet, mate. I'm telling you. Luiz said to him. Luiz also said that Salah said to Luiz that I didn't feel you pull me. If I'd have feel you tug me, I would have gone down. Clearly, Salah's taking a piss out of him. Do you know what I mean?
It's got to have been, because he nearly said, because he's literally just pulled him to a stop and then he went again. There's no way. You just could see. It's when Luiz was complaining to the referee and arguing about the decision, and you thought, sometimes you just think you should just shut up and be grateful that you're not getting a red card, shouldn't you? The rules have changed because that was so blatantly obvious.
But what was his argument? I don't understand how he was advocating that action. I really don't. He's just made to look an idiot.
No, it's the thing. That's what got me. I'm thinking, why are you arguing? You can't argue. It's clear as day. You've pulled his shit. It's a penalty all day long and a booking. You should just be shutting up and stop arguing in case the referee decides you're showing dissent and sends you off, because you could easily end up getting a double yellow here. And he carries on, and you're thinking, what is wrong with you?
What did you make of Luiz's performance?
It's just not a game for him. He got destroyed. Once he's been booked, his head's gone. And, and he can't make when Salah does him on the halfway line for the second goal, what can he do?
Yeah.
I mean, when Salah's got, he's getting drawn out to Salah, where's the cover for him? This is the question. I mean, he shouldn't be the one going out there anyway in the first place. That should be the fullback's job.
Monreal's job.
Yeah, Monreal should be there. But
Monreal went AWOL. I think he was. He got taught a lesson by Salah. Let's face it, and it was. It was honestly. It was like sometimes it was as if Salah was playing against 14-year-old kids or something. It was embarrassing.
To be fair, I think the problem is that they were so busy. They were so bothered about dealing with Mane and Firmino. They kind of, this was one of those games where Salah was the one that was left with the free space, the one-on-ones, because they were so busy doubling up on Firmino and Mane, nobody left to double up on Salah. So
That's a fantastic point, because our front three is so individually, they're so damn good. The other two can afford to have an off day, and one of them can have a blinder, and we win. It really is like that.
Thing is, though, Firmino was excellent as well. He ran that
Lovely.
game.
He was, of course, yeah. I mean, yeah, we're going to get to him in a minute, but what I'm saying is, it was just an all-round abject performance from Arsenal, and I don't know how their fans can take any heart from that.
They seem to just think because they conceded 2 less goals, that must be a better performance, and I just don't understand how they can see it that way. Because it wasn't like they were 2 goals better. We were just taking it easier.
Exactly. The first 20 minutes of that second half was just the most. I mean, it was, for me, it was delicious. And if there was any doubt in my mind that we don't have the team or the squad to go deep in all competitions, that game banished it. We had Keita and Allison to come back into that squad, and I think it's vindicated that we didn't buy anybody in the summer.
Well, it does. I mean, in the early stages, though, it does help not having new players to bed in. So it can actually be an advantage in the early stages. It's only later on in the season we'll find out whether it's the right decision. When things get tough in the winter, that's when we'll discover whether or not it was the right decision.
But we still have Shaqiri. I mean,
we've got a strong squad. Don't get me wrong. I'm perfectly happy with the decision not to buy, because I'd rather we didn't buy than buy crap just to fill in squad spaces. Like,
yeah, I mean, what's his name? Cornet, or the other guy I think we were very interested in from was it Leon or Leo? Leon. I mean, what do you do? I mean, you're not going to get a game. I can understand him not coming over, and yeah, it might be to our detriment that we haven't got a really, really deep squad like City's, maybe, whatever, but maybe we don't need it. Maybe we're good with what we've got, and we won't get that many injuries, or fatigue, or whatever, or malaise, and we will be successful.
Well, we have got an excellent sports science department. They kept the majority of players fit last season. It was just the one set of defensive injuries, really. If you look at the season as a whole, apart from some long-term injuries to Lallana and Ox, we only really had that one set of defensive injuries in the winter, and that was it. Overall,
that was with Gomez, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Gomez
and
Matip and
Trent.
Lovren all had injuries all at the same time, and Van Dijk had a rib injury as well. And
Trent was away out for a few games as well.
But none of them were injuries that were caused by lack of fitness, though. I mean, Van Dijk's was a rib injury caused by impact. Gomez's was caused by an impact injury. You know what I mean? None of these were caused. None of these were like muscle, soft tissue injuries that are caused from fatigue or tiredness or lack of fitness.
That's a very good, interesting point, and a salient point you make, mate, about the sports science department. They are. I mean, that's something that I take for granted, and I don't think too much about it. But this sports science team, I think the guy came from Bayern Munich that's heading it. Yeah, is it the top lookalike, right?
Yeah, Mini Klopp.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, he really does. He knows his onions. Correct?
Yeah, he's brilliant. One of the he's reckoned to be the best in the European game. So,
what's his actual job?
I'm not sure what his job title is, but basically he looks after their. He monitors all their fitness. Monitors their heart rate, monitors all those kind of things. He gets all the. He takes the training, the warm ups, the cool downs, all that kind of stuff as well, and helps with things like what they need to drink and eat and stuff like that. He works with the nutritionist, that's the word I was looking for, on what kind of things they need to eat and drink because of what situation their body's at that time, if you see what I mean. Because obviously they have different fitness levels as the season goes on. Their fitness will be going up and down, and they'll need various things depending on the situation that's rising, whether they need more electrolytes or I I can't think of anything off the top of my head now. I'd need to have it.
Yeah.
I'd need to go and look it up.
Yeah.
Properly.
So basically, it's as the season goes on, they train less. I don't know, on this type of fitness, and they do more weights or less weights, and it's that kind of stuff. They have a modified kind of training schedule
and different food needs, different rest periods, different.
Yeah.
Everything's modified to suit the situation as it goes. They'll look at the results of like their heart rate, how it's gone up and down during the game, and they'll say, that's taken X amount out of him. He'll need more carbohydrates, say.
Gotcha. And we can't underestimate that either, can we? Because that's a fundamental part of the regime and their training schedule.
Well, it's a whole. This is the thing: is what's the difference has been with Klopp is he's not just taken gone out there old school and just trained the players. He's taken a holistic view of it and tried to train every part of their life. He's tried to get players that have lived their life the right way, train their life the right way, think about football the right way, as well as playing. You know what I mean? Firmino, it's not just about Firmino going out and playing for 90 minutes and putting his heart in. He's also got to train at the right intensity as well. You know what I mean? So he can go and do it. And he's got to go back and, you don't want players going out and down in 50 pints after the match. And our players don't do that.
That's a good point. That drinking culture has been banished from this club. I mean, in that kind of Spice Boys image is completely gone. I mean...
Yeah, the likes of David James skipping training after week because he was too busy getting drunk. Nah, that doesn't happen anymore. He's too busy modelling and stuff like that because he just doesn't turn up for training. I mean, you can't do that. No wonder he was crap.
Let's not go down that road because we'll be centuries otherwise. But I mean, I'm so happy because this group of guys, I think that they're very there's a togetherness about them, and I don't think there is that kind of partying culture and that drinking culture going on.
But they've all been
the families.
The families have all been getting, especially the Brazilians have all been getting together for one of the babies. Is it a christening or birthday? I forget which now.
I don't know. I was invited, but I didn't go.
Didn't you?
That's another story.
You'd have enjoyed it. I'll send you the pictures later.
I had to do the podcast, mate. I'm sacrificial, me.
Well, someone has to prepare the notes, so I don't have to.
Exactly. Yeah, somebody's got to be your lackey. Like Fab, him and his missus are Fab. All like you say, that Brazilian nucleus, that Brazilian triumvirate is. They're very like family orientated. That's the culture kind of thing, And then I think the others just feed off that.
Well, you've got people like Milner. I mean, he's just a machine anyway. But he doesn't go out. He doesn't drink anyway. So, you don't have to worry about players like him, do you?
Yeah, he's more in than out. You know what I mean? It's like the only time he goes out is when he goes training to the match.
I don't know. He was out playing. He was out around the golf with Lallana today, so.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, fair enough.
Just worried you might have put something there. I was just worried. Thinking of all the people you don't want to lose is Milner.
Oh, right. Okay. I was going to say, if Lallana pulls something, it wouldn't really fuss.
I was just thinking it's the golf thing. It can cause injuries, as we know, Gareth Bale.
True. He's back in favour at Madrid now, isn't he?
Well, it's more a case of I've got to play him because I've got no bugger else.
That's a complete turnaround, that is. I mean...
Zidane's on close to having his cards again, mate.
Oh, P45, that is... It's... What was it? They drew on Saturday, didn't they? The Sunday, yesterday?
I don't know off the top of my head, but like there's a lot wrong behind the scenes there, as per usual with Madrid, to be fair.
Do you think it's Mourinho time?
Well, they've certainly won him back. Perez does. Florentino Perez would love to have him back. So, maybe.
Why?
I've no idea. your question, I just don't know. I mean, they're obviously friends, aren't they? So,
Well, I actually, to be honest, just to go off topic, little digression.
like we've
Just
been
from a
on topic,
football...
we've been talking about Arsenal and fucking Real Madrid. We haven't talked about Liverpool yet.
Language, Tristan.
What did
The
I say?
family
Did
show.
I swear? Sorry, I didn't even notice.
Stop it with your Peaky Blinders language. What was I going to say to you? Yeah, just from a footballing point of view, I would love to see Jose back in a top job. I just want to see if he's still got it in him to build that winning team.
I don't really care, to be honest. I don't like
All
his
right,
style
then.
of football. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't really care if he never works again, because I'd be glad to never have to watch a team of his play and cheat and dive and roll and play act and waste hours messing about for nothing. I can't stand his teams.
He says some lovely things about you as well. Let's get down to the player ratings,
I've got nothing against
mate.
the man. As a man,
Yeah.
he seems like a perfect. I've seen him do a lot for lower league players and stuff like that. But his teams, I just hate watching them. They're horrible to watch.
Yeah, and Man United thought they were getting sexy football back at Old Trafford again after they fired Jose.
Yeah. Well, they got Ole at the wheel, so they'll be all right.
Yeah, they'll be all right. Right.
I mean, how could they not be? They've got Harry Maguire. I mean, what more could you want?
£80 million bargain.
Oh, that still makes me laugh.
Oh well, mate. Let's get back to the podcast. The Liverpool.
Yeah, well, we're
rating.
supposed to be talking about Liverpool at some point.
Yeah, we are, aren't we? Yeah. Okay, player ratings for the match, mate. I gave Adrian a 5. I think we're just
Didn't he
guilty
make a good stop, though?
Pepe hit it straight at him. He couldn't have missed it.
I know what I was going to say. That was the previous match. What he did do, though, that was hilarious, was that one shot, and he then dived 20 minutes after it had already gone out for a goal kick. It's like, what the hell?
Was that Pepe's shot as well?
I think it was, wasn't it? Pepe hit it wide. It was already out for the goal kick, and then he suddenly, he thought, oh, hang on, there might be a camera on me. I'm playing for Liverpool, remember? Mum, watch.
You know what, mate? I think it might sound as if I'm giving Adrian grief. I'm just being constructive. Listen, I'm guilty of comparing him to Becker, and it's not fair. He's a very capable reserve goalkeeper for 5-10 games of the season. Yeah, and we could have done a lot worse, to be honest. All right, we could have done a whole lot worse. We could have had Mig still in goal,
Robert Green.
We could have had, I think, exactly. We could have had the rookie, the kid in goal. Who knows how he would have
You only have to
performed.
look at De Gea this season. I mean, again, he's having stinkers. He let in the cup. Should never have let in one of those goals, at least at the weekend.
The second one, the Van Arnold goal, was just ludicrous. That was just poor.
Wasn't the other one that was also bad on his near post, if I remember correctly? Or am I thinking of the previous game? I can't remember.
I think it's the first goal. The IU scored, and he was 1-on-1 pretty much, and he beat him. He beat him near.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if that was.
Yeah, then it is the right one. Then I wasn't sure then if I was getting my games mixed up, but yeah, because he got beat twice, and I'm pretty sure that David De Gea on his best days doesn't let in either goal.
Yes, yeah, at his best, they wouldn't have gone in. Yeah.
Personally, though, I've got to say I'm quite happy with Adrian. Okay, he's not perfect, but he's a backup keeper. You don't expect perfection. I don't expect Becker.
Mate, I honestly don't think there's not many stellar number 2s out there, right? Maybe the guy at Man City, he's got an unpronounceable name. I think he's pretty good.
Which one?
And
their number 2 is Claudio Bravo.
No, what was it? Yeah. Sorry. I'm thinking of the one with the. No, I'm thinking of the Spurs number 2 keeper. Sorry, he's very good. No, he's not at the club anymore. Yeah, he's left.
No, they got the Argentinian, haven't they?
Yeah, I think he's very, very good. And
got him from Southampton. Yeah, I know what you mean. He's all right.
Yeah.
For a number 2,
Bravo is a. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, Adrian, we could have got. I think Ed002 was saying something about a Turkish keeper. We were close to getting as a number 2. Who knows if he'd have worked out, you know? And all right, Adrian had his customary brain fart. He did some good things also. I mean, he stays on his line too much for my liking, and he does. And when he does come out, he's got a mistake in him. But you know what? For 5 games in the season, he's very, very capable.
And I like the fact that he's just loving being at Liverpool. Everything about you only have to look at anything he puts on like social media and stuff. He's just loving it. It's just the biggest thing that's out. You know, it's like the greatest thing that's ever happened to him.
And it should be, mate. That's the kind of feeling you want from your players. That's what the kind of positivity you want from your players. That Liverpool should be the be all and end all of your career.
You can't dislike him. I find it difficult. Anyway, I love him.
Yeah, and by all accounts, he's a very good influence in the dressing room. And let's face it, he's made some bloody good stops in the last few games. Against Southampton from Yoshida, that was a worldie he pulled off.
And it's not bad for a player who was training in the sixth division in Spain a few weeks before.
Exactly. I mean, and I think who was he gonna sign for? Was it Valencia or something?
I can't
remember. We went in for him?
I can't remember. He did say, but I can't remember who it was.
Yeah.
I'm just glad we got him.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And I'm thankful he saved us in every single game we played. The Super Cup, he won the Super Cup for us, and he saved a goal or 2 against Southampton as well. So I'm very grateful. He's won us points for sure, and a trophy. So we can't get better than that. Yeah. I saw Keller was on the bench on Saturday.
Yeah, the youngster.
Yeah, so his wrist must be better.
Yeah, it was only he was only out for a short term. They knew he was going to be back.
I still can't pronounce his name though.
Isn't it Kevin or something? Is that your name pronounced?
Let's just call him Kevin.
I'm pretty sure it's something like that. It's pronounced. It's like an equivalent of it. God knows why they can't spell it like that, but I think they do it out of spite.
Yeah. Hopefully, Ali will be back after the international break, and he'll just miss. It's just the Burnley game he misses now, and then he comes back after the international break.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. Because I mean, I like Adrian, like I said, but Becker's a different level, isn't he? Whole different level.
I remember when I think we've had this conversation many times when you were saying that you want him, and I was like, we just put about 35 past him in 2 games against Roma, and I was like, you sure, mate? And oh my God, he's just next level. He's just elite level.
Oh,
do you think he's? Go on.
No, I was just going to say, I just think he's just the best there is around at the moment. You only have
better
to
than Edison.
Well, it's not even a contest. I mean, I don't know why people rave about Edison. He's a very, very good keeper. But there's a whole different ballgame between being very, very good and being the best. You know what I mean? It's a bit like Becker. It's the difference between Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, and the rest is the difference between Becker and Edison. Becker's the best keeper. Edison's the rest.
You don't understand why people rave about Edison. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, because, I mean, how do you know if he's good? I mean, he conceded the
Because
goal.
I see him every week.
Yeah, but how many shots is he saving? How much? He does a decent bit on the floor with the ball. Yeah, but that's not what
He does. Yeah.
you're not having a look at how he actually goal keeps because he's conceded quite a few that he should have saved in recent years.
Fair enough.
If they'd have had Becker in goal, I reckon they'd have conceded. There's quite a few of those goals. I would have put money on Becker to stop.
You reckon that Becker at City and City win everything?
Yeah, it'd just be unreal. Because he's got everything that Edison can do, but he's a better keeper. He can kick like him. No, but he's a better keeper. I mean, Edison's slightly better with his feet, I would say, in the shorter passing game. But Alisson's got much better long-range passing.
It's negligible, though, in the short and pass game, isn't it? Because, I mean, it really is negligible.
Small margins, I
think. Exactly, yeah. God, I would hate to think him at City. Wow. And just think, Madrid could have got him and they went for Courtois.
And you look at, Courtois made a mistake again at the weekend, didn't he?
Awful. Yeah. He's having an awful time.
You've only got to look at Kepa as well at Chelsea. They paid a world record fee, breaking our fee. And look at him, he's so dodgy at times. It's scary. Sometimes he's a very good shot stopper, but other times he flaps at everything. He gets all panicky. He loses his angles and stuff, and you're thinking, what's wrong with you? 1 minute you're great, and the next year all over the place. It's weird.
I'd like to see him in a year. I think he's going to mature into a real proper keeper, I think.
Well, if they got the right coaches, that's the question. I don't know what their goalkeeping coaching's like there. It did all right with Czech and that, but is it still the same coaching staff there?
Well, Czech was a former keeper, so he could be able to employ people that sort that position.
Well, you'd hope so, but
coaching there. Who knows what happens behind closed doors of politics and everything, eh?
Mm.
Right, so I gave Adrian a 5. All right, so Trent, I didn't think he had such a great game, to be honest with you. He was afforded acres of space, but his crossing was not up to his usual standard.
Yeah, he overhit quite a few.
Yeah, and he provided the assist for the first goal, clearly.
That was pinpoint corner, that, to be fair.
Yeah, well, as Klopp would say, he's an assist monster. I thought he was a little bit weak defensively. I think he had a bit of an iffy game, second iffy game in a row for me, and let's hope he gets going this season. But it seems really, really stupid to criticise him, as he nearly always does something positive, makes an assist or whatever,
But the only way they get better is to look at the things they do wrong as well as the things they do right.
Yeah, and it's good to have these easy games to make your mistakes in, so you can iron out those mistakes.
Easy games.
Yeah, I mean,
shouldn't be saying that about Arsenal though. That's just. But it is. It's probably one of the easiest games of the season is Arsenal at Anfield, and it shouldn't be that way.
This is a Liverpool podcast, Tristan.
I know you. Let's get on with Liverpool. Right. So after Trent, you haven't given a rating yet.
I gave him a 6. I think. Matip. I think I gave him an 8. At the moment, this guy is sticking the middle finger up to all his detractors, including all his doubters, including me and you. His renaissance is a frigging revelation. He's scoring goals, keeping them out at the other end. He's playing with some confidence. He just needs to have a little bit of better decision making when he goes on his Beckenbauer-esque.
That wasn't so much of a problem this time. It was the slide, those slide rule passes he's fond of playing out from the back. He played 3 of them, and all 3 of them was picked off straight away by the midfield. There was no need to
Midfield,
play
yeah.
them either because there was plenty of space down the flanks. Just play it wide. Just play it wide. Just keep it going. You know where
Maybe
the
he was
space
thinking this
is.
game. Yeah, maybe he was thinking this game is easy. I'll try a few things. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? You don't know.
But they'd pack the they'd pack the central areas, so trying to slide rule pass like that was always going to be a mistake.
Maybe he was doing a Trent, he was ironing out his mistakes against the easy teams.
Yeah, true. I mean, other than that, I mean, he was exceptional. He even showed a turn of pace. The big thing I always used to criticise him for was how slow he could be when he was coming back, when he was so quick going forward. You're thinking, where did the pace go? It's just like it just vanishes when he's running backwards. Well, in that he made this one. He raced back to knock the ball away from Pepe just as he was about to shoot, and he showed real pace then. I mean, where the hell did that come from?
Oh, yeah, he put on the afterburners, didn't he? I mean, for me, this is going to sound silly, but for me, he was man of the match-esque performance anyway.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, he scored a goal, a couple of saving tackles.
Yeah,
he's certainly got to be in the conversation, hasn't he?
absolutely, mate. I just think this guy. I mean, nothing's free, obviously, in football, but I think we paid a £10 million signing on fee for him. He was nothing in a transfer fee, but his first couple of games he was real boss. But now he then went through that. I don't know how long it has been this kind of lull, and he's been dormant.
But the thing was, the first couple of games he didn't have to defend, and he looked great. Then he had to defend, and he looked ropey. Now he's having to defend, and he's looking good again. That's the difference. Is he's stepped up his game. He's improved. Whether that's him who's putting the middle finger up to all of us that complained about his defending, or whether that's good coaching or a combination of the two, you've got to say fair play to the lad. He's improved. He's stepped up his game, and that's really impressive.
Okay, mate. Now let me ask you a question, because this is something I'd be very interested to hear the answer to. Gomez at his best, Matip at his best. Who gets that second central defender position in the team?
The problem is Gomez is still a kid, so his best so far that we've seen
was last season.
Yeah.
And so, comparably, who would you... What a brilliant problem to have.
I don't know, because Gomez has got the edge on the pace, and that's a huge thing.
Right.
But... oh, God, I don't know, actually, right now. And that is something I never thought I'd say. I think you'd have to go for Gomez because of the pace, wouldn't you? Because even if they're both playing at their best, having pace is an advantage. You know, if
yes, but
you've got to say,
yeah, but if he's got the intelligence, he can nullify that pace in his head, kind of thing. You know.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I think they're both, their best so far that we've seen is probably on a par.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying. So
which is very good.
Yeah, because they're both excellent. They've been, their best has both been excellent. I'm saying that I would pick, because they're both on the same level. I would say you go for the one that's got more pace out of them, because it's more useful.
That's interesting. I would go for Matip because of the goal threat.
Yeah, there is that. But Gomez has got the long throw as well. If you're in need at the end.
I'd rather have the goals.
Yeah, but, Gomez can set up the goals just as easily. So, yeah, I can see your point. I can see either way. It's an either-or situation, isn't it?
Yeah. And what's I think you can see in Virgil's eyes is the fact that he's more accepting of Matip now. Because I thought before that he would prefer to play with Gomez, but now I think he's really respecting who Matip has become.
Oh, yeah. But you know what you're saying about the goal threat? Isn't that just because Matip goes up for corners, Gomez doesn't?
Probably, yeah.
So if Gomez goes up to, could Gomez add the goal threat by just simply going up for corners?
I'm not sure. I don't think he's a weapon as Matip is. I mean, he's a big old unit. He's 6'4", 6'5".
I just think Gomez has got so much pace. You leave him they leave him at the back because he can cover ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
Because otherwise, we ended up in a position where we had Jordan Henderson as the last, as one of the two last. Because we have two always back. It's normally Robertson or Trent, unless Trent's taking corners. Right. In which case, we ended up with Jordan Henderson back. Whereas if Gomez had been playing rather than Matip, it's Gomez and Robertson, and Trent could take both sides corners on both sides. So that's the difference. So when you've got Trent delivering a corner like he did for Matip, would that mean that the goals would be even more because we'd have more from the left side as well?
Yeah, true, but I don't think that Gomez is more. I don't think Gomez is as goal aware as Matip.
No, but what I mean is by adding Trent's corners on the other side as well as on the right-hand side of the pitch, he could then create more goals for other players than having Matip in the area would score, if you see what I mean, rather than...
I do see what you mean. So it's a lovely problem to have, though.
It's just, I'm just putting that out there rather than saying it's true, because we don't know. It's just a potential.
It's conjecture, isn't it? Yeah, supposition. All right, fella. Virgil. I gave him an 8. I just think it was same old from Virgil. He needed a few minutes to work Pepe out, and when he did, it was just his usual stellar self. The only negative was I think that chance that Adrian came rushing out, and when Adrian came rushing out, Virgil should have knocked it into road X.
Yeah, not waited for the keeper.
Exactly. Yeah, he should have taken some. He should have taken initiative there and just taken it out himself. And when Alba got that chance, but yeah, I just thought the main thing for me was him and Pepe. I was wondering how. So to be honest, I was a little bit scared because of Pepe's pace and skill and everything.
I've got to say though, were you not a little bit disappointed with Pepe because he didn't seem like he could run and control the ball at the same time?
I was very happy that he couldn't do that because...
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, from Liverpool. But I mean, because I wanted to see him test Van Dijk, obviously. And to him to actually go at him with skill and pace, it's something that Van Dijk very rarely has to deal with, let's be honest. Because most players tend to just go after whoever the other centre-back is. Because they try and avoid him. So this was the first time he'd actually had somebody up against him having a go with him. And I really wanted to see how he got on. But Pepe just kept fumbling the ball every time he got it when he was at pace. So we never got to see whether Van Dijk could handle him or not, really.
Do you think that's a defect in Pepe's game? Or do you think that's something that he's just going to...
I don't know, because
I've
not seen enough of him.
It's only been 2 games.
Yeah.
He's had two... He's been on a sub for the first 2 games, the first 2 league games, and this was his first start.
I've seen bits of him in France, but I wasn't really taking notice of him as such. And he looked exciting, he looked quick, but I never really took notice of how he was controlling the ball and that. And he just thought he was a bit cumbersome with it, a bit loose with his touch, and then he's, it's bobbling around and he's stumbling around trying to get it under control, which is why he didn't score, if you ask me. Because by the time he got to the chance, you know what I mean? He was literally, if you watch him, he's poking it with his toe rather than controlling a shot, because it's all he can do. He's not got it under full control.
He's not got it to either side of him, so he's got it's basically it's in the middle. The ball is at his feet, not to the left or the right. It's in the middle of him, and he's shot in the middle. He just straight shot.
Yeah, it was just literally because he's stretching a little bit as well, so he's just poking it really, rather than trying to stroke it into the back of the net like, say, Terry Henry does, or Salah tries to place it. You know what I mean? He did later
Yeah.
on. He did try and place that one we were talking about where Adrian dived 30 minutes after the game had finished, like just in case there was still somebody there with a camera. But yeah, that one he placed because he had the ball at his feet. But when he had the other one, he was just having to stretch, and you just thought, yeah, I was a bit disappointed with Pepe. I really wanted to see him test Van Dijk, but I saw these stats. They reckon it was the first time Van Dijk was dribbled past, and I'm really struggling. I don't understand how they decide this stat, because I've seen players do more than that against Van Dijk, get past him more than Pepe did in last season, that weren't counted as being dribbled past, and yet that was counted as being dribbled past. I don't understand how it works.
It's very subjective, though, that dribbling past stat, isn't it? I don't know what the reference point is, to be honest. But didn't he get back when he went past Van Dijk? Get back to him though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not like he's done him, like, you know what I mean? I don't understand how the stat works. I've seen players actually get. I did see at least one player get past Virgil van Dijk last season when they were going on about this, you know, not being dribbled past. I was thinking, well, he just did it and it never counted, and so I've completely lost how it works. And especially now that the first time it is done was not as decisive, I thought.
But do you take any notice of crap like that? I mean, maybe it's not crap, but I don't take any notice of that. That doesn't interest me whatsoever.
It just intrigues me how these things are worked out. I just don't understand it because they don't make any sense.
Yeah, it's just stats for stats' sake, mate. I think going back to Pepe, it's too soon to judge the guy, clearly. This is a guy who scored 22 goals as a winger in France. He's clearly got the technique and the skill. I just think it just takes a little bit of time to... some players take some time. And I mean, it's evident he's got the skill.
But is it? I don't know, because that's what I was saying. I couldn't see any evidence of him having skill. I saw him having blistering pace, but I didn't see any real evidence of him having skill. He seemed to struggle to keep the ball under control. That was what worried me. I mean, that's Sam Maximin, Arsenal, Newcastle signed.
Newcastle, yeah.
He's got blistering pace as well, so he'll score goals and always be a threat. Traore of Wolves, blistering pace, always be a threat, but that doesn't mean they're actually good players. So I was a little bit...
Well, he's modified his position now. He's a right wing back, and we'll see how he got at Traore.
Well, he just plays wherever Nuno puts him, which is good. That's what I like to see of a player. I like that of a player that just, that'll try and learn a position, even if it's not one they feel comfortable or think is the right position for them. They'll have a go and give it a go and see if they can, give it their best. It's good to see.
It really is. How do you pronounce the Wolves manager's name?
Nuno Espirito Santos. That one.
That's a great name, isn't it? That's a great name.
Well,
that's a good manager.
Just call him Ness, don't you? Or Snez. They call him Snez, don't they?
He's a good manager.
NES, after the Super Nintendo thing.
Yeah. See, I go out on my bed, get out there and experience life. I wouldn't know about those computer games.
No, you were just, by the time they came out, you were too old. That's the thing. Some of us were still kids when they came out, so we remembered them.
I still remember Match of Day in black and white.
That reminds me, when we Nan and Grandad got a colour TV, because my Grandad loved gadgets. They were the first in their street to get a colour TV, and my dad's little brother loved Blue Peter, and so he said to me, Nan, he said, "Can I come round and watch the Blue Peter at your house, please, Anne? Because I really want to see it in colour. I love Blue Peter, and all this, because he's a bit simple, Peter, anyway, at the best of times. Like, he's not all there in the head, and he must have been about 16, 17 at this point, but still, wanted to watch Blue Peter. My nan's like, "Oh, of course you can, son. Yeah, you come round and watch it." Yeah, not a problem. All the other kids are like, "Oh, do we have to watch that?" None of them wanted. So anyway, so he comes round to watch it in colour. They were still filming it in black and white. He was absolutely gutted.
Hey, let me ask you: do you know anyone with a Blue Peter badge?
I'm sure one of my uncles has got one.
I've never known anybody with a Blue Peter badge.
I'm
Do they
sure.
still? Is Blue Peter still on?
I've no idea.
I was going to say I'd be super disturbed if you're still watching Blue Peter at 46.
I remember a kid in my class. Yeah, well, I'm not in the right country for that. Even if it is on. I remember a kid in my class won one of those Saturday morning TV show competitions.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine streaming Blue Peter when you're in Dubai?
You'd have to be a real saddo. What kind of person would put it out to stream in the first place anyway? I mean, you'd really have to be sad to want to stream that to somewhere, to share it with somebody else, wouldn't you?
Now, let me tell people, you're sad, but not that sad.
Thunderbird, just so you could make the Thunderbird Island or whatever it was. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, I love Thunderbirds on Go.
And how old were you before you realised what sticky back plastic actually was? Because it was, I only just found out recently, and I said to my mum, did you know sticky back plastic was sellotape? I mean, this was the last time she visited, so last year. I said to her, did you know sticky back plastic was just sellotape? She said, what? No, all these years.
Everybody knew that.
No, we didn't. Nobody knew that. We always thought it was plastic. That
I knew it.
Yeah, well, you're posh.
Well,
so, you're a rich southerner, so...
Well.
See, you're a rich
exactly.
southerner, you wouldn't know these things. We just called it tape. Or sellotape, you know what I mean? Sticky tape, but fucking sticky back plastic. I mean, who calls it
swearing.
that? Sorry, apologies. Yeah. But who calls it sticky back plastic? I mean, what kind of soft southern... Yeah, I can't think of another word that doesn't swear there. Yeah, what kind of nonsense is that?
You still get a piece of coal at Christmas, don't you, for your present?
Only if I've been good.
And a tangerine.
Always got a tangerine, unless they couldn't find any, in which case I got a clementine. That was the best present. No, not an orange club. That's too expensive. Too posh. You can't have chocolate. That's too expensive.
Did you ever have after 8? Or
you're joking with my mother. You are joking. Chocolate was something to fight over, and you lose with my mother. My granddad used to get a hamper every year for us, and it always had walnut whips in, and that was where the fight would start. We used to having the walnut whips.
We're going to start losing the one viewer we have.
Christ, where were we? Yeah, what podcast?
Let's get back to the...
Most people out there, the one person that is listening is only listening because they're trying to figure out what the hell a walnut whip is.
They're Googling it right now. All right, back to the Blue Peter podcast. I mean, the Liverpool podcast. All right. So I gave Virgil an 8, I think. I can't even remember anymore.
Yeah, we've gone past him. We're on to Robbo now.
Yeah, Robbo. I gave him a 7. I must admit, I was one of Robbo's biggest detractors, as you well know. I didn't think he was going to make it. I was pretty wrong about that. I think we're a worse team without him. His crossing should be more accurate, but his drive and tenacity are infectious. I thought he could have... I honestly thought he could have tackled Pepe better when Pepe had that one-on-one with Adrian. A lovely piece of skill, but I think Robbo's tackle made the skill look... Robbo's lack of tackle made the skill look better. But other than that, he had a decent game.
Yeah, I mean, he always gets up and down the flank really well, and can't really argue with... you can't really complain about him, really, can you? Too much.
I mean... Has he got... Is there anything negative you can say about him? I mean, apart from his... What's his different... What do you think
can be weak defensively. He can be weak defensively, and his crossing can be so wayward. At 1 minute it's perfect. You think, what a beautiful cross that is. And the next one, it's just like, what the hell was that? But
What does he do to improve that? Just keep practicing, or will that be a trait in his game
The
forever
problem
now?
is, I think he gets flustered. He gets excited, and so he just gets
Yeah.
carried away and just whacks it rather than stop. Taking the time, calming down, and playing across in. When he's calm and he just plays it in, he's brilliant. But he gets flustered. He gets excited, and he just wellies it in there, and it can end up anywhere. Then, when the rush of blood gets to him. But that's not the worst thing you can have.
We'd rather have him than not have him.
I can't think of a better left back. Can you?
Nah, and I must admit I was super wrong about him. I didn't think he'd be as good as he was. And
he's come on in leaps and bounds. To be fair, it's all well saying putting yourself down, saying you didn't think, but he's been a lot better than he was. He's improved, and he's improved since he joined us as well. You know what I mean? He's improved on the player that he was when he first joined. He's a better player now.
So this is another one down to coaching and the desire from the player, a combination of both. Yep. A bit like Matip, yeah. Yep. All right, 8 million seems like an absolute snip, doesn't it? I mean, Jesus, trying to get a left back of his quality now would be what?
I still can't think of another one. I'm thinking about. I can't think of a better left back around at the moment.
Certainly in the Prem, yeah.
Certainly wouldn't be Danny Rose, would it?
He is atrocious. I bet. I mean, no wonder he couldn't find a club in the summer. Nobody wanted him.
He doesn't even really want to play. This is the thing. He's not that bothered. He's a bit like that one they had before. Do you remember him with that wanted to go in? That said he wanted the reports where he wanted to go into porn, but he claimed it was not true. Do you remember it?
Porn?
Yeah, he said there was a report came out that he'd said he wanted to go into porn when he retired.
No, I didn't know anything.
Anyway, he reckons it was just. He reckons that was just nonsense. Yeah, he was a left back for them years ago. Was he Cameroonian or French?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Van der Haar.
No, you're thinking of Pat Van der Haar, aren't you? Case no, not that later than him. Fairly recent, like. I think he played under Harry Redknapp. You'd know him if you'd seen him. He was one of those, he didn't like the game and he used to moan about it constantly. He's just doing it for money. Danny Rose reminds me of him a bit.
Not Aurier. Not Serge Aurier.
No, he's a right back. Talking about left backs.
No, so left back. He's a Cameroonian left back for...
I think he was either Cameroonian or French. I forget now.
No, that's just lost to me. But I think Rose is a mercenary. I just think he wants the fattest contract, and he doesn't care where he plays. I mean, I just think if China offered him a decent contract, it'd be off.
Yeah, I'm sure he would. Well, he wanted to go.
You're looking at that. You're googling that left back.
Yeah, I am. I'm looking at that.
I can hear the tap, tap, tap on the computer. All right, we'll just fill in with loose chat, small talk while you...
no, you carry on. We'll go on to the next one and then I can jump in with it when I find him.
Are you putting into the Google search, Spurs left back, porn star?
No, I never thought that. I probably should have, shouldn't I?
All right, mate.
And Asu Akoto.
Asu Akoto, yes. The one with the... he had long, dready hair.
Yes, that's it, dreads, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, cornrows, aren't they? That's what they're called.
Cornrows, yeah. Sorry, yeah. So apologies for my...
I haven't got a picture of him, but I remember him now. Yeah, mate, I found a picture of him, Yeah, no, it's definitely him. He didn't like football at all. He even said that.
Didn't he play for Paris Saint-Germain?
I don't know. They bought him from somewhere like Lens or somewhere. He might have gone on to them afterwards.
France, sure, yeah.
He might have gone back there after, you know, but I don't know. But he was crap.
All right, this is we got to get back to the
Sorry,
player
where
ratings.
were we? Yeah, after Robinson.
We're
Right,
at
Robertson.
Genie Wijnaldum. I actually thought if he'd stayed on the pitch, he would have been man of the match. He was tremendous.
He
No
did
wonder
need
he
to come off, though. He
substituted.
was tiring. You could see it. He gave so
No
much.
wonder
I
he
did
was
think.
everywhere.
Do you know what? I was thinking after about 20 minutes in, and he was just going hell for leather. I thought, as Klopp told him, I'm going to take you off after an hour, just give it all. Because he was, I've never seen anyone put much work. He made Milner look lazy. And that takes some doing.
He was absolutely on fire. I thought this was one of his best performances in a Liverpool shirt. He was absolutely...
I'd go with that. I thought he was possibly in the argument for man of the match as well. If not the man
He
of the
would have
match.
had it, mate. Mate, he would have had it if he'd have stayed on. He came off after 66 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm assuming you're right. Klopp probably would have said to him, just go for it. Because he didn't leave anything on. He left everything on the pitch. Everything. Amazing performance.
I mean, he was literally chasing all over the pitch, and I'm thinking, geez, save some for the second half. I was thinking.
Yeah. He was... God, I mean, what a player. What a midfield we have. I mean, we have 5 or 6 players. Again, I said this last week, that are just... we've got one of the best midfields, the 6 men in the midfield in the world. I mean, you can interchange them all. Apart from Fabinho, Henderson and Milner trio, which I don't like personally, I think you've got 6 players that can interchange quite easily and win games.
Yeah, I see. I like our midfield. They're not. I know people moan about the lack of creativity, but they do create chances. They don't They don't need to create chances by being David Silva. You can create chances in other ways, and they do.
By suffocating and pressing and
winning the ball back in dangerous areas, and then playing a slide rule play. You only need. Sometimes you don't need to play long passes. Sometimes you can play a short, quick pass, and it's a good one.
Yeah, totally agree, mate. I wouldn't change. I honestly don't. I mean, we've still got Keita to come in as well. It's insane. I mean, the media lead you to believe that we're short in players. We're not at all, and not just short in play. We're not short in quality players either. We have excellent players in our squad.
Can't argue with that. I was happy with the squad. So,
I mean, where would go on?
I was just going to say, I've forgotten what I was going to say now. No, can't forget it. Carry on, because I've forgotten what I was going to say now.
Okay. But again, another player that I was absolutely critical. I used to slaughter this guy when he first came to us. And look at him now. I mean, maybe I should just hate everyone and they'll become world class. You know, because... it's just the guy is just such a great player. I love him. I wouldn't have anybody else.
Really?
No, I just think the only thing he lacks is goals, and I can forego that because the others score. And he's consistent now with it. You know, he's churning out stellar performances week after week.
I can't argue with that.
Fair enough. Let's move on to Fab then.
Fabinho? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I gave him. I just love this guy. I know some people thought we'd been sold a lemon when he first come to the
club.
Are you
referring to there? Because I can't remember. Are you
referring
to a certain Everton editor or something?
Editor, yeah.
Yeah.
Can't remember the number now, but
yeah, I loved him. You knew I loved him. I wanted him when we signed him. I was excited. So
yeah, but when he first came to the club, it's just evidence that some players take time to bed into a football club, into a city, into a culture, you know, and that's what it was with him. And once he settled in, he just I mean, he's
We
just...
had to learn the system as well. You've got to remember that. He's come from a totally different system at Monaco. So
He was more... When he was at Monaco, was he more of an attacking player?
he played the role in front that like a Henderson and that played most of the time when I saw him. Initially, but he did drop into the deeper role in the second season, in the following season, not the season they won the league, the following season, which was when he had his best season. He was absolutely sensational. And it's no coincidence that since he left, Monaco hit, without him, Monaco were in real trouble the following season.
He plays right back. He plays central defence. He plays a defensive midfielder. He can play as a more forward-thinking midfielder. We have a pretty much complete footballer there. He glides around the... Go on.
I was just going to say, what I like about him as well is he doesn't just sit deep. He doesn't just hold. He knows, he looks and he sees Wijnaldum, say, for instance, or whoever, Milner, whoever, who's on the left side, will have dropped in and taken up a fullback's position because Robertson's gone forward.
Right.
The other one on the other side's dropped in because Trent's gone forward for a bit, because sometimes they do to get, to pass the ball across the back. One of them will, they'll drop in on both sides if you notice sometimes. So one's in front. And when those opportunities arise, when that happens, he won't just sit there in front of the defence and think, well, make it a 5-man defence. He'll see there's plenty of men back there. I can move forward. And he does. He makes, he gives us more options still going forward.
Whose ball was it to Salah when he skinned Luiz to score the second to score his second goal? That was a gorgeous ball. He played to. I'm pretty sure it's Fabinho that played the ball to
It's kind of ball
Salah.
he plays.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. He's a great passer of the ball. He does play good pass.
Yeah, it's pinpoint as well. I mean, he just glides around the pitch with so much finesse and grace that you sometimes misses. Yeah, and he's an absolute wall breaking up play by knocking the ball off the opposition's toes.
It's so scary how he can just always seem to just nick it away clean as well. I mean, it's not like a lot of players will do that, but then they'll flatten the the opposition player every time. You know what I mean? They'll take the ball, but then they'll get the player as well. He just nicks it away from him and doesn't get the player. It's incredible.
Yeah, you're like some players, they make it look dirty and ungainly and a foul, or this guy he does it with finesse, man. He does it with he just pickpockets you.
Tackling
and
is
you
an
don't
art.
even realise.
And he's one of the few that can actually still good at the art.
Oh my God, this team is it's incredible, man. You run out of superlatives for this team. I didn't realise how good we actually are.
Do I need to get you a nappy?
Mate, I'm honestly wet myself. I think I'm soiling myself, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about.
I gave him an 8, man. I just love the guy. I just think that especially the stick he took early on in his career, and he's come back with a vengeance.
And Robertson as well. He took the same stick because they weren't playing, but sometimes you just have to take your time to get in the team. That's how it should be.
And Genie took the stick as well.
Yeah, I don't understand. Just give them time. I kept saying, just wait. That doesn't mean they're a dud because they're not playing immediately.
Yeah.
I keep referring back to it, but Rush took 3 years to even score a bloody goal for us.
Is that correct?
Yes, 3 years. Do you know that's why we lost the Jeff Twentyman, the scout, who our top scout that scouted all the players we got, like Hansen, etc. That was why we lost him, because the directors gave him such a haranguing over the Ian Rush signing that he left.
Over one perceived bad signing, they had to get.
You got to remember, he was a record signing for a teenager,
right?
And they thought he'd made a mess of it because Rush was a midfielder.
Right, I didn't know that. Where did he come from, Ian Rush?
Chester Chester City.
Chester, gotcha, right.
But
Right.
Twentyman would, because what he did was he wasn't just a scout. He wouldn't just go and he'd get to know the families and everything. But after we'd signed them, he'd come and speak to them and explain to them why he bought, why we bought them, why he recommended them and stuff. And he'd speak to them about what
Right.
they could do to make their game better. And he, with Rush, he would spend hours on the training ground talking to him about what he'd, why he'd wanted him to sign for Liverpool, why he'd recommended him and that. And having the best scout, and I mean, he was the best scout. That's why we won things, because we had the best recruitment. That's part of the reason. I mean, having
Fair
like a
enough.
great scout like Twentyman telling you how great you are, it must be a huge confidence
Yeah.
booster. So, like, even when
Yeah.
you're struggling, that's what he'd do. He'd come in on the training ground when one of the players he'd kicked out was struggling, and he'd speak to them and explain to them what was so good about them, why he wanted them. And, they
There's a
soon
fascinating
came good.
there's a fascinating biography on Jeff Twentyman. Have you read it?
Do you want about the scouting diary?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read it. I gave it to Ed 3 when I finished with it, because
Yeah, I want to get that. I want to read that.
really good, really good. It's not really a biography of him. It's only got a little bit.
Isn't
It's
it?
only a
Okay.
little bit of biography. It's by his son, but it's his scouting diaries. It's literally
Oh,
what
all his notes.
his
His
notes,
and
yeah,
everything.
all reprinted and
Ah.
so it's really good to read.
Interesting. Yeah. Probably on Amazon, right?
Yeah. Well, I got it as a present off my mum, so I'm assuming she got it from Amazon or somewhere. She usually does.
Fair enough, mate. Talking about Rush. You think he's Fowler or Rush for you?
I was too young to remember Rush, to be honest, really. So Fowler,
Bollocks.
I don't really
Bollocks.
remember him as a player. He was when I remember him, he was past it, and he was, Fowler was
No
playing
way.
alongside him.
You're 3 days younger than me, and I remember Rush and his pomp.
3 days, my ass.
You're like
30 years.
You're like selective here.
No, I remember
memory
it, but it
or
wasn't
what?
on TV, and you only got to see the odd game. You couldn't get to see all the games.
It was on TV. You didn't have a TV. That's what it
No, it
was.
wasn't. There was only match of the day. That's not the same as go. Whereas when Fowler was playing and at his pomp, I was there with a season ticket. That's the difference. I was there every week when Fowler was at his pomp. So, whereas when Rush was at his pomp, I was a kid, and I don't really remember. I didn't really get to see it. You only got match of the day then, and the FA Cup final. That was it.
And I remember watching. There was no watching these Saturday games. Get the scores on the BBC grandstand.
Yeah,
with, Frank Buff.
And then later on, you had
do you remember
teletext.
That's right. Do you remember Dickie Davis though?
On ITV, wasn't he?
On ITV, yeah. Such a little guy. Doing the same thing.
He had that weird grey bit in his hair.
That's right. Yeah.
Gosh, we really are going off topic here, aren't we?
Bloody hell, yeah. Anyway, going back to, just quickly, the people that you talk to, who remember Rush and obviously remember Fowler, who do they say was the better one?
Well, Fowler was, yeah. To be honest, I mean, I've heard a Wolves fan who went along and watched Best play, and he told me he was like a friend of my mum's, and he said to me that Fowler was better than even the performance he saw Fowler put in. He only saw him play once live, and he said it was better than even anything he'd seen from Best because he was that good. That's how good he thought he was, and I mean he wasn't saying that he probably hadn't seen. I don't know if he'd seen Best at his peak or what. So, but to even stand comparison, that says a lot to me. The difference was Fowler could do more than Rush. I mean, the free kicks around the edge of the box, deadly. Rush couldn't score them. He could play. He could pass from all over the pitch. He could shoot from anywhere. He could dribble past a player. He was a great player, Rush. Yeah, Fowler. But Rush was great as well, but he was a great goal scorer and first line of defence. Fowler could have been a playmaker as well.
I would say Rush is Bobby Firmino with a lot of goals.
Because
he defends.
Yeah.
He defended as well.
But he was further
Yeah.
forward. It was different in those days because the defence stayed deeper. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, there wasn't a high line. All right, let's get back to topic. Another player that's had his detractors is Jordan Henderson, Captain Fantastic.
yeah, I thought he was good again, but it's what you expect from him, really, isn't it?
I thought I gave him a 7. I thought he was. Again, he was Captain Fantastic. He just needs to start adding goals to his performances.
Exactly.
That's
You can't give him a higher rating because he doesn't.
Yeah.
He does the job well, but I'll take a 7 out of 10 every week if that'll do me nicely.
But why doesn't he score more goals? Isn't he? Is he not confident in getting into those positions?
It has to be composure.
Or does he just think?
Has to be. Because I've seen him. He's got great technique. And you see him in training, he scores goals for fun.
But why isn't he getting into more goal-scoring positions? I'm not talking about the composure when he gets to those goal-scoring positions, when he gets into a chance to score. He should be getting into more goal-scoring positions than he does.
Well, we don't really need him to at the moment. When you're winning that in this game, it was a case of we just did enough. Nobody was really going. Nobody put in nobody had to go out there and give it all and take risks because it was an easy win. Right. So he didn't in this one.
So he doesn't need to go gung-ho and get into those goal-scoring positions, but when he does get into them, he's having brain farts.
Yeah, well, it's like the Southampton game. He got in there and he scores. The next game, I can't remember who it was, and he's in there and he misses a chance or two, doesn't he? It's just, I don't know. It's hard to understand because he's got excellent technique. One of the most technically gifted players we've got. To be fair, he's very good striker of the ball, but he gets in there, so it can only be composure, because otherwise there's no real explanation for it.
He's not bad with somebody for a dodgy gate, is he? So I'm glad we have him. All right, mate. Mo, I gave him an 8 out of 10. How blessed are we to have this man playing for us? I really do. I don't care what Gary Neville says about him leaving and not being a Liverpool player within a year. Just appreciate the Egyptian king while you have him. I mean, his second goal for me was world class, and that penalty, you wouldn't have stopped that with 2 keepers in the goal.
No. That's one of those that's unstoppable.
And, he was a menace to the Arsenal defence throughout and had Monreal on the toast. And time again, and going back to that penalty, he has changed his penalty kicking technique for sure. I used to be so nervous when he came up and to take penalties. Now he's going up with swag and exuberance and confidence, and he's knocking in penalties every single time. Brilliant.
Yeah, having him and Milner in your team's kind of, you feel fairly safe when you get a penalty. It's going to end up in the back of the net.
True, mate. And it's it seems we're indulged. I mean, it seems to be like it's greedy, it's criminal that we have these two taking penalties. And when you compare it with across the East Lancs Road and Martial, Rashford. Rashford and Pogba.
It is, yeah.
I mean,
Pogba with this 2.5 hour walk up and then miss anyway.
I mean, it was just in the script that Rashford would miss that. It was a great penalty.
I felt sorry because it was such a good penalty, so well hit, almost exactly perfect. And then it comes back out again. You're thinking you couldn't really, you couldn't write that, could you?
Well, it was just. I think it was written for the media, it just for the drama of it all and for a story. I mean, it's just. It was the perfect penalty, but it wasn't, And I feel sorry for the kid because I really, really, really like him. I think he's a tremendous footballer. I would love to have him at our
But I bet
club.
you didn't stop laughing at the time, though, did you?
Mate, I really did soil myself then as well. I just thought, but I wanted, you know what I wanted? I wanted them to be Yeah, yeah. I just wanted them to be awarded another penalty and Martial missing it as well. That would have just been my weekend topped off there.
Yeah, just swap it around them all and let them all miss one.
Exactly. What is going on there, man? I'm telling you. I think the fella.
They
I
got the
don't think
wrong
he'll see
two in
Christmas.
charge. Why feeling alongside him? I mean, it's bad enough having a cheerleader as your manager, but then put feeling alongside him. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Oh well.
But this is guys meant to have some tactical nous, isn't he? Feeling.
No, he's not got a clue. I mean, they hated the last time he was there alongside Fergie, because Fergie always used to divulge, let the number twos take it. It's just one of the skills he did was so to refresh it all, constantly refresh the tactics and that, he'd let his number two have the major input in it. Brilliant. I mean, it worked brilliantly for him. But when he was there, Phelan's tactics were dire, and the football was. They never stopped moaning about it. So I don't understand why they brought him back. And they all seemed so pleased as well that he was coming back, because they'd forgotten how bad he was last time.
I think if he was any good, he wouldn't have been coaching Australia, to be honest. So
exactly.
There you go. Oh well, mate.
We might actually talk about Liverpool at some point.
Yeah. But at least this is a mixed up podcast. We're getting everyone in.
I'm so sorry for the people having to listen to it, though. Both of them are going to be so bored.
They'll be asleep by now anyway, so it doesn't matter. We can just go on and talk about anything we want. Okay, I can't say I'm too despondent about Man United not being any good. But anyway, right, back to topic. Mane, I gave him a 5.
What?
He wasn't his potent best. I don't think he was his potent best. And I thought, he's been a superhero for us, but for
do you
so
not
long,
think you're just comparing it to that? And you're saying he was only a 5 because he wasn't as good as he has been? Because I thought he did some good stuff.
Like you said, I think they were so preoccupied with Mane and they let Mo and Bobby cause havoc.
Did I say that on the podcast or before we were discussing what we were going to talk about? That's the only problem.
I can't remember.
Yeah, no.
Do you know what? I've forgotten about. Like, we've been going on, but we've gone off topic for so long. I don't know what's going on now.
No, I'm
all over the place.
Because I think I mentioned that when we were discussing what we were going to talk about.
That's right. There you go. So,
I thought that the reason why Salah was able to be quite so effective was because this time they were concentrated on Mane and Firmino, and because of obviously Firmino last season destroyed them. I thought they gave Salah they didn't have enough players left to triple up on him as usual.
Yeah.
You give him one-on-one, and there's nobody you can live with Salah. Let's be honest.
So you think I was a bit harsh on Mane? I should have given him.
Because even if his performance wasn't at the level it was before, it was good, and he did enough to draw over the defenders to give the others space and time.
Fair enough. I think you're right. I think I was comparing him to past performances, and maybe I gave him a disservice. But I think he was quiet and he's a little bit subdued. But
6, I think, would be fairer. He still had an effect on the game. Yeah, Bobby was excellent.
Yeah, swashbuckling performance that deserved the goal.
Some of the stuff he does is just incredible.
He has to be the most underrated footballer on the planet. I just don't understand how fans of other teams don't appreciate his genius and his skill level. It just confounds me.
Because he doesn't score as many, and people only watch the goals. That's all they see. Like I said to you when we were talking earlier on, and we were talking about something else that we'll talk about later. And I said the reason why people love him is because all they do is they watch the games because they're sat on their mobile phone, texting their mates, playing games and stuff. They're not actually watching the game, and what they do is they look up when the goal's scored and they watch the replays, and that's it. Or, when there's another incident, they look up to watch the replays of it. They don't actually watch it live. It's pointless even having it bloody on.
Because I know you don't text while you're watching the game, do you?
No, I switched the text off and everything. Because the noise he comes in. I know.
You have your red Liverpool pillow. You're holding that, and you're a nervous Nelly for 45 minutes.
I'm walking up and down, jumping up and down. I can't keep still.
I've witnessed it, mate. But yeah, going back to Bobby, just a supreme footballing genius,
fantastic.
really.
I love Bobby. I still think he's nobody is ever going to convince me otherwise until I see somebody else doing the role he does. He is the key to everything we do, in my opinion, and it showed when he came on. That, in that game the other week.
Chelsea
Yes,
game,
yeah. It was a Super Cup, wasn't it?
In the Super Cup, yeah.
The game turned because he comes on. He's the equivalent to me. He's the equivalent of Kante for us. It's not just the press and the work rate. He just sets the tone for the rest of the team.
He really is. He's the litmus. He's kind of the touch paper, isn't he?
And I mean, you see him when he's chasing back 60 yards to win the ball back. How many forwards do that? Not many. Though a lot more of them are starting to do it now. I've noticed a lot more of them do it because they see him doing it and they think, hey, that's what you've got to do to be classed as a top-class forward these days. As it used to be, you could just stroll around up front doing nothing. Now you watch them, and a lot more of them are starting to do it.
I can't think of a player that can replace him. I mean, I'm thinking worst-case scenario that somebody, one of the big Spanish teams buy him or something. I just cannot think of somebody that can replace him. He's just irreplaceable. I mean, the joie de vivre and the swag and the skill set he brings, it's irreplaceable, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't see another footballer out there that can replace him. There's players as good as him, but not as good for the role he plays in our team.
In the system.
Yes.
In the system, right.
This is the thing. Yeah. It was like, when somebody asked me on the Ask the Ed podcast to name a player I'd like us to abort in the summer. The problem isn't buying a player that would fit our system. It's buying a player that would fit our system and improve on the players already in our team. That's the problem.
Absolutely.
There's very few out there that suit our way of playing and improve the team. There's plenty that would improve the squad, but the team itself, it becomes difficult, and you're starting to stretch it, aren't you, to look for him.
Let's hope, mate, he stays injury-free. And
oh God, yeah.
Yeah, just I don't even doesn't even bear thinking about. All right, mate. The subs, Milner, Oxen, and Lallana, they didn't really have much time on the pitch and didn't do that much. So when they came on, so I didn't give them a rating.
I mean, they didn't really have. The game was so won, and it was just a case of seeing it out, really, wasn't it, when they came on? So
yeah, it's nice to see. Do you think Milner's having? Do you think this is Milner's role now, a bit part player or coming on a sub, or do you think he still has a major part to play? Starting
when the season goes on, when the season wears on, he'll get more games.
Okay. Why isn't he doing it now?
Because he's fit enough to cover, rotate. You've got to keep him because you might need. What happens if there's a slight niggle to a defender or something, one of the fullbacks or whatever? He's up, he's not first choice backup, but you know what I mean. There's always the risk that there might be a long-term injury to somebody, and he's going to have to be covered. Right. You need to keep him as fresh as possible. He's 30-odd years old, not being funny. And I know he's a machine, 30. But you still got to be careful with him.
He's 33, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and you've got to be careful with players. You want to keep them fresh now. So that, but at the end of the season, he can still be going. Last season, he was in almost every game, and he got a niggle. Remember, he got a small injury, and he was not the same afterwards.
What an attitude! What an absolute brilliant attitude the guy has.
He's grown on me so much since he signed.
Yeah,
he's just got better and better as well. I mean, you shouldn't be getting better in your 30s, but he has.
It's an embodiment and evidence of what looking after yourself and living clean and healthy can do to your career,
How would
how it
you
can
know?
extend your career. I'm a paragon of virtue, mate. Right,
So
let's
you're the
move
living
on.
embodiment of how not to live.
Mate, let's move on to the Burnley versus Liverpool preview.
So it'll be pretty much a repeat of the Arsenal one because they'll use the same tactics. Hoof it up top for Barnes and Wood to chase. The only difference is they'll be physical strikers rather than fast. That'll be the only difference.
So Emery is sawn Dijk with hair.
He pretty much was in that match. I don't know what he was thinking.
I really don't know. I don't know how you leave Gazette on the bench. I just don't understand. He's a terrific footballer.
And why would you leave Torreira on the bench as well in a game where the energy in midfield is going to be a problem? You know they're going to overrun you in midfield with the energy. So you go with he's the most energetic midfielder you got as well as probably your best. Surely you've got to start with him. Well. Anyway, we're supposed to be talking about Burnley game, not the Arsenal one.
Yeah. All right. They were super unlucky to draw against Wolves. They had the lion's share of the game. Wolves scored in the last minute with a Jimenez penalty.
But it doesn't matter how much of the ball you have. It's how many chances you make. It's like Man United fans talking about how much possession they've had. Yeah, but they're not creating chances. And Burnley, Burnley's chances tend to be long balls and a mistake from a defender, or a battling and winning a header and flicking it on and hoping for someone to latch onto it. There's no real.
Ashley Barnes. That's their hope.
Yeah,
that's their.
It's a hit.
That's their plan A and plan B. Yeah.
And while it's been effective, they can't really complain if they concede at the other end because they're not going to score enough goals that way. It's their own fault if they don't start putting 2 and 3 with past teams. They're going to concede because of the way they play. They're inviting teams onto them. They're taking risks,
right?
And it happens. So I don't have any sympathy with them.
Fair enough. Just going back to the Wolves, they played 3 games in 6 days as well, or 7 days, I think it was. 2 in Premiership and 1 in Europe. So
yeah, they were knackered.
Yeah, so because they're better than that.
And they did well. To be fair, they did well to keep going and getting the goal right in the death.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Here's a player that maybe could replace Bobby was Jimenez.
Doesn't create the same, though, does he? He's got some of the attributes, but he hasn't got others.
I like him a lot, though.
I do as well. I think he's excellent.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to Burnley.
Why are we talking about Wolves? Yeah.
I have no idea. I just like. I think I wanted to talk about Jimenez. I think he's a great player. Okay. Back on topic. Blah, 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 blah. Right. Yeah. They got Pope in goal, which I like. Who I like.
He's a bit. He's a good shot stopper, but the rest of his game is very weak. You can catch him out.
To be fair. I like. I know you don't like the set. I know you don't like. Is it Tarkovsky?
Tarkovsky's crap. He just pulls and pushes and shoves and kicks and fouls and gets out of position, throws his body in the way when he should have been. If he'd have been in the right position, he wouldn't need to do that.
But I think they complement each other as a pair. I think
me carries.
They know each other games. You think so, right?
Yeah, but a wonderful player. Me far too good for Burnley. He should be playing at the top. A few years ago, he's getting on a bit now, though, isn't he? He should have moved when he was.
Is he that old?
He's in his 30s, isn't he? No, he's just 31 or something, isn't he?
Oh, but is he? I didn't know he was that old.
I'm pretty sure he's. Yeah, pretty sure he is. Quality.
Keep
player.
Talking. Let me Google that one.
Oh God, your turn to Google, is it? Yeah, I mean, he's just one of those players that's really been outstanding for them, and yet nobody's came in for him. He should have moved years ago. When they got relegated, I thought somebody's going to come in and buy him, and he'll be a great signing for wherever he goes, but no one did. It's such a shame because he could have been at the higher end. He should be an England. He should have been an England regular. He's definitely better than Maguire on the left, but not that that's saying.
He's 29.
29, no.
He's 29, yeah.
Oh, so he's not as old as I thought, but yeah, he's still at that. He's at that point where he's got to make the move now if he's going to do it. Burnley fans will tell you he's the star man.
And no, I don't.
The thing is, as well, the reason why it's trouble is because he only moved to centre back recently. He was a left back.
Oh, that I didn't know.
Yeah, when they first got promoted, I think it was either the season they won promotion. They had it because they had to set, because literally the first time they won promotion under Dijk, he had to sell almost half his team. Literally almost half his team had to be sold because they were going into administration and it was to stave off admin. So he sold pretty much in the entire, pretty much it might have even been more than half the team. Just had to sell, have a fire sale, get rid of players. And I think that was when he moved me into the centre, because basically it was a case of, who have I got that can play in the centre?
Must.
Yeah, you're going to have to play there, mate. I know you're a left back, but we're a bit short. And then he just turned out to be a revelation. At least I think it was that season. It was either that or the next one when they first got into the Prem. Because he lacks a bit of pace for a left back, you see.
Yeah. I think we should have enough armoury to dispatch him.
I've thought that before and they've given us a good game.
Yeah, but we usually win.
Usually. So fingers crossed.
This is a different animal under Klopp. It's not.
We've come forward and they've kind of stagnated because they can't afford to buy. They can't afford to build, really. To be fair.
So why has Dijk stayed then? He's got lofty ambitions, I'm assuming. So why is he? They just gave him a 5-year contract, but I'm sure he could have got a bigger club. More money even?
I think there's two reasons. One, the right offer hasn't come along, so it's not one that's tempted him. And two, they let him do what he likes. He builds what he wants there. So rather than like the first time when they got relegated from the Premier League, any other manager, you've suddenly got a windfall of cash, and they said to him, we've got all this cash suddenly, what do you want to do with it? Well, any other manager said, right, I'm going to buy these players and we're going to go back up. He didn't. He spent virtually nothing on players, bought a couple, nothing much, you know what I mean, just a little bit, but he spent it all on the infrastructure of the club. And he's been doing that ever since. Enough. He's been working on it. He's built something there, and it's a club in his image now. You know what I mean? It's his training ground, his players, his staff, everything has been built to his specifications. So I see why, it'd have to be a good offer to tempt him away. And the likes of Man United aren't going to come in for him, are they? Not being funny.
They're not. No.
Because of the style of football.
I think Newcastle would have been a good step up. It would have been a good club for him.
I think they should. I don't understand why Newcastle didn't go for him. I mean, I know the style of football might not be good at Burnley, but how do you know he'd do the same at Newcastle? This is his first, really, it's his first real job, so we don't know if this is his style of football or if he's just doing this because it's all he can do with Burnley to keep him in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think that would have been a good fit, to be honest, yeah.
Bruce did all right so far.
Well, he did all right. Well, 2 losses and he's beaten Spurs away, so nobody would have predicted that result. I mean, I don't know what the odds would have been on that. The betting odds would have been on that. That must have been, you got some great odds on that. I mean, but going to Spurs and winning 1-0, unbelievable.
Spurs look awful under Pochettino now. They've been going backwards for a while.
Yeah, but they still make chance after chance. It's not as if they're not making chances.
But what's the chances? They weren't really they weren't like open goals or anything. Like, they weren't.
No, Kane in the last minute and Moira had. Kane in the last minute should have scored. Mora should have scored. He had a volley that he should have scored from.
But Mora's not exactly he's not a goal scorer, is he? He scores at times, but he's not really he's not the one you want, the definite one to go to. I don't know. I just think Pochettino's not the man everyone seems to think he is. I think he's massively overrated.
Do you really? that's a very interesting. Oh, my wife just walked in. Hello. That's a very controversial thing to say, I think.
I don't know. I mean, he can't. He hasn't won a trophy. He hasn't taken them for the players he's buying aren't choosing to buy. He's not buying them, obviously, but the players he's wanting them to buy. He wants players with that are physical rather than technical. I mean, that Davinson Sanchez. What kind of imbecile would have chosen him? The guy is absolutely useless, and it was obvious before they bought him, because I remember laughing about it on the editor's widget how bad he was when they were going to sign. When they said about signing him, I was like, I couldn't believe. And Wanyama can't kick a ball straight to save his life. He's got no control over it. Sissoko, he's a donkey. Oh God, that Aurier! I mean, God, what is he? I don't even know what he is. He's inept.
He can't.
Yeah, and you could go on and on. The only quality they've got are the players coming through the youth squad. That's it. And that's not him.
So if he'd have won the European Cup, would your proclamation been different?
No, I'd have been embarrassed if they'd have beaten us to the European Cup, to be honest.
But you say he doesn't win trophies.
Yeah.
He was...
But he wouldn't have, because I mean that was one of those where you just thought it's the Pochettino way. He's very suited to Spurs because he does the same, the things we always think of with Spurs, where he messes up when it's there for him to win. And it's something Spurs have been doing even since the Nicholson days. You read about them. They should have dominated the English league in the 60s, the early 60s. They should have been dominant, but they only won one league title. And you look at it, you think, how?
Even I'm not old enough to remember those days. But
I used to work with a guy who was an obsessive Spurs fan. He was obsessed with the history. He was a historian of Spurs, before he came to the work of us, and he used to go on and on about it. So
the point I'm making is that he's getting into those positions to lose Premiership titles and lose European Cups. But so he must be doing something right, Pochettino.
But he's got into the position to lose a European Cup. But I mean, you look at it, and what did he? Was it that he did something brilliant to do it, or was it just they got there? They stumbled there. I mean, even even the Premier League, they've only once got into a position really to challenge for the Premier League, and that was the year Leicester won it. And even then, they just threw it away.
He hasn't had the funds though.
Well, he has.
He's only had the funds this season.
No, they've had money to spend. The problem hasn't been a lack of funds. The problem has been Levy won't and him don't spend them correctly.
Okay, so that's different then. Levy not spending the money or Levy not spending it because Levy's in charge of.
They picked the wrong players. I mean, look at the players they've chosen. The likes of Llorente. Why would you sign him for a Spurs team that doesn't play the way that suits him?
Doesn't play that way, yeah. So that Poch's issue, Poch's fault though.
Poch is coming up with the players he wants Levy to buy. Levy's then having to go and buy them.
Oh, because hasn't Poch come out and said that the recruitment is nothing to do with me? I'm just a coach.
That was this season. That's why he said he wants his title changed because he's no longer involved. But why would you let him? When you look at what he's picking out, Wanyama was 100% Pochettino. Serge Aurier, 100% Pochettino. I mean, they're crap. Davinson Sanchez, 100%. That was a Pochettino choice. They're crap. Would you let him choose players for your club?
No, you're right. No, I Sanchez hasn't covered himself in glory. He's getting carried by Alderweireld, for sure.
Yeah, he got Alderweireld and Vertonghen together, and that's been the key to his success.
Yeah.
Anything else is not, but it's not really. Is that down to him, or is that down to him just being lucky enough to have those two?
Here you go, mate. There's another. Sorry to not answer your question, but here's another player I'd have replaced Bobby. Son.
I love Son, but he's not as good as Bobby.
No, he's not. But who is? That's the point. Nobody is.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
He was lively on Saturday.
He's a good player. I like him.
like him a lot, mate. Yeah. All right. Back to the Burnley game.
Oh, were we talking about that? I thought we'd finished on that one.
Yeah. Ashley Barnes is having a purple patch, but I think, as I say, with another full week's coaching, I think we'll have too much from. And I love this that we get a whole week. It really does. People don't realise, I think, that a whole week coaching does have a wonderful impact and a positive effect on the performance the following week.
And especially as it comes on the back of a practice match against a team that plays exactly the same way. It's quite useful because it's just reinforcing. They can now reinforce the message, can't they?
Positive reinforcement.
Exactly. That sounds like something Brendan Rodgers would say.
Yeah, the group. Positive reinforcement with the group. All right. That's enough about Arsenal, I think. Team for Burnley, mate. For me, I wouldn't drop anyone. Same again, please, Jurgen. And, yeah.
Yeah, stick and go for it.
All right, mate. International break after the Burnley game will give us a chance to get, hopefully, Alisson and Naby back fit.
Should do. Fingers crossed.
Are we? Do you know anything? Are you aware of how close Naby is, or is he out for a few weeks? Or
hang on. Last I heard, I've got written. Hang on, I've got to find it now. Last I heard was he only just missed out on the weekend. So that was the last I heard.
Am I right? Brilliant, because I think he's a game changer, mate. I really think if he could just sort his. I know he's had a few off-field
but I don't
issues.
think he'll play against Burnley, though.
No, I don't think he'll. No, you wouldn't change that team, but I think he may have a chance of being in the squad, possibly.
No, I don't think he'll be in the squad. I think he'll be left out to rest, to carry on his recovery.
Enough. I can understand that. 3 weeks off and then ready to go against Newcastle. Or is it Chelsea we got after that? I'm not sure. We won't. I'm not going to ask you about Alisson because who knows?
Nobody knows because it's no data because he's never had an injury like this before. So it's just guesswork. Yeah. Standard is 6 weeks for that kind of injury, but obviously he might be a quick healer, he might be a slow healer. We're only going to find out now.
Yeah, we'll see. Only time will tell. All right, mate. Any transfer news?
None that I can think of. We mentioned Sturridge last week, didn't we? Going to Trabzonspor, so that's about it, isn't it?
I'm glad you said that. How'd you say it? Trabzonspor.
Yeah, Trabzonspor.
Right. Yeah. Good luck to the lad.
They gave him a good reception, that's for sure.
Listen, everybody gets a good reception in Turkey. What's that about? Is it just that they're grateful to have a player there, or is it?
I don't know. I think they just want them. They want to get them before they can abuse them later. I don't know. Because they usually seem to turn on players very easily, even though they seem to forget that, like, half the time the players aren't performing because they haven't been paid in 6 months, and so, things like that.
Yeah, they do. You're right. They do seem to go from hero to zero in like
the fans.
A week.
It's like Real Madrid fans. They turn on them quickly, and then they wonder why they can't compete in Europe. It's because they go, it's all very well being intimidating, but you're meant to be intimidating the opposition, and most of the time they intimidate their own players.
Mate, no, I totally see that. I mean, I remember being in Istanbul hundreds of years ago. And this guy was wearing
was that for the Crimean War?
I think it was pre-Crimean War.
Probably. Were you there to see off the Mongols? Were you part of that?
I was the one that started it, mate. With I shot in the air and everybody started fighting. With my what do they call them? Muskets. Is that it? Musket?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you might find that was a bit before muskets, the Genghis Khan and that. It was like the 13th century.
That's probably about my era.
Exactly.
My time. Those were the halcyon days. Listen, they reckon that 1 in 8 people are related to the genealogy can be traced back to
Yeah, but
Genghis Khan.
that's hardly like a big thing, is it? Like, I mean, they all have big families, and he travelled for some miles, and sadly, I don't see that. And it's that many thousands of years ago, whatever, hundreds of years ago. I think you can probably say the same about just about anybody at the time. It's just they don't know anybody else. You know what I mean? They wouldn't know their DNA, would they? To check. You know? So what I mean? It's just that it spreads out that quickly.
No, I get it, yeah.
It's probably not even that big. It's probably not even anything special at all if you actually looked into it, I reckon.
So you probably think there's loads more prolific father of children. Well, and Genghis Khan gets all the...
Yeah, it's not actually that. I don't think it's anything to do with being prolific. If you just think about it, hundreds of years ago, they have, even if he only has 2 kids, and they have 2 kids, you know what I mean? They're mixing with the family, there's 4 each, it doubles each time. It'd soon be, it's hundreds of thousands in no time, isn't it?
You're a great advert for Ancestry.com, you are, aren't you?
Well, my mum's into that. She's researching the family tree because she found out my dad's great-granddad or granddad, one or the other, I forget which, is a Welsh lord, so she got all excited.
I remember you telling me a story.
Yeah, the great-granddad, my great-granddad or great-great-granddad, I forget which, is a bastard child of some Welsh lord. Which probably explains why everyone keeps saying I sound a bit Welsh. I think that might be it. The Welsh genes, like they might have skipped a few generations.
Well, I can see that. What are you, aristocracy or?
Well, I like to think I'm both, really. I'd like to think, I mean, I must be only a few 100,000th in line to the throne. So just watch out. Just remember that,
mate. I've met you, and there's nothing regal about you.
You're just jealous because I've got royal roots.
Yeah, there must be. And finally, mate, Harry Wilson, footballing god. Discuss.
That isn't quite how I'd term it, but YouTube hero. I mean, it was a great free kick. It was a great free kick, to be fair. Absolutely postage stamp. There's no way any keeper in the world's going to save that. Not one. But it's just the same. The rest of his game's no good.
Why is he so lauded by our fans? Is it because of his free kicks? I don't understand.
Because they only see the highlights. If you only see the highlights, he looks a great player. But if you don't see that the other 89 minutes, he's actually doing nothing, really, of any use. He doesn't affect the game enough. He's got so much quality in his feet, and yet he doesn't affect the game for 89 minutes of it. But you give him a free kick, and wow.
My point is, if he was...
Mikhailovic that used to play, was it AC Milan, used to pick him, literally, because he was the dead ball specialist. Was it Mikhailovic? I can't remember. They had a defender, and they used to keep...
Is it Sinsa Mihailovic? It was at AC Milan, and was it Lazio as well?
Yeah, it might have been him. It might have been when he was at Lazio, actually, thinking about it. I don't know. It was either AC Milan or Lazio. And I think it's Lazio. I could be wrong, but he just had cancer treatment, chemotherapy. Yes, he's at Bologna now.
Days. Yeah.
Bologna.
Yes.
That's why it came to mind, because he's just come back. Yeah. Which is great to see. Chemotherapy from leukemia. That's it.
Absolutely, yeah.
41 days in hospital, so hopefully he'll get better.
Yeah, good luck in his recovery. Yeah, so you were saying about... listen, if he was that good, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here, because I don't think he's Liverpool quality, but I don't think he's Championship quality either, but I think he's I think he'd do well at somewhere like Newcastle or a lower league Premiership club. Bournemouth, there you go. But
a lower league Premiership club. How can they be lower league and Premiership?
Sorry, a lower. Sorry, my mistake. A lower positioned Premier League club, should I say? Thank you for correcting me. But why hasn't anybody come in for him if he's that good then and bought him?
Well, there was a bit of interest, like, but nobody wanted to pay what we were asking, so it's just
What
a
was
price.
the asking price?
25 million, I mean, not £25.
Yeah, that threw
I think
me
we
for a
might have
minute.
got rid of him for £25, but yeah, 25 million. It's a lot of money for a kid that's never really performed in the Premier League at all. So.
But then they gave us 15 for Ibe as well, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly. I think Eddie Howe was probably thinking, I'm not going down that route again.
That route again, yeah, exactly, yeah. 15
I mean, Solanke still hasn't made it, exactly lit up the game, has he? And he was the other one. Brad Smith ended up going on a fee to the US to Major League Soccer, and they paid $6 million for him.
I swear he's in Australia now.
I thought he went to Major League Soccer. He did go to Major League Soccer. He might have gone to Australia now, because he's Australian.
Maybe, yeah. That's 3 players that haven't worked out for him at all.
Is that the only ones? I'm sure there's more.
I mean, I couldn't believe. I mean,
and they wanted Lallana they wanted Lallana not so long ago as well.
Oh my God, that would have been just that icing on the cake.
Eddie Howe reminds me of Pochettino, massively overrated. I just do not get it. I mean, I was watching their game, and the commentator said, as soon as Ake gets the ball, he said, he always impresses me. What a player, as he lost it. And he still was raving on about how great he was. And he just gave it straight to an opposition player. And I thought, there's just no point, is there? There just is no point. When the commentators are that biased, they don't even watch the game. I mean, he literally gave the ball away. Bad pass. It was an easy one as well. He was unchallenged. He was under no pressure. And he just gave the ball away. And the commentators raving about how great he is. Oh, he looks so good, that lad, and all this. He was saying. I was just thinking, oh, God.
Mate, I can understand the commentators having a skewed or an incorrect opinion of somebody's footballing ability. What I don't understand, which totally baffles me, are the football pundits who are co-commentating.
Oh, the summariser.
Who has the same view of a player. And you're thinking, you're awful, mate. The actual player is awful. He's not as good as you saying he is, and you're meant to be the pundit.
Yeah, you're meant to be there to provide actual expert opinion. And they never are experts.
The worst.
Jim Beglin annoys me because he never sees anything until the 14th show. He was totally lost at the week because the Liverpool game. They had problems with they claimed it was the heat melted the equipment was Beglin's excuse. No, it wasn't. Don't talk bollocks, Beglin. It's just they had problems with the equipment at the weekend at the Liverpool game, and it kept freezing the picture. So we couldn't look on the replays and see what had actually happened. So we had no idea what was going on and what the referee was giving free kicks for or anything, because he never actually sees anything at the time. And it takes him 45 replays before he sees it. It's terrible.
I tell you who gets my goat is Danny Murphy. Yeah. He particularly pisses me off. I
used to be friends with him, so I tend to give him a pass because he's a nice lad. Thick as, but nice lad.
But he's meant to be. He gets paid British pounds.
Yeah, I don't get that.
To be a pundit.
The one I don't
can't see again.
The thing you can tell when a pundit's got a clue or not is what they say about Shelvey. When they start raving about how great he is, you just know they haven't got a clue. They've not seen a game of football in their life. Forget that.
Yeah, I just think they're being jingoistic because he's English.
Exactly. That's when you know there's no point listening to him.
There's a big clamour for Maddison at the moment.
Yeah, but that's deserved. He's quality. Do you remember I did a top 10 of best attacking midfielders a couple of years back? He was still in the Championship then with Norwich, and I put him in as number 10. And I got hammered on the sites for that one. How can he be in there? He's only in the Championship. He's no good. He's crap. All this kind of, that's the kind of comments I was getting. I got absolutely hammered. Apart from a few people who said, I don't know anything about him. But most of them were just hammering me. That was all they were interested in is, you're just putting him in because he's English and all that. Like, how many of them would still say it now? That lad is just something else. He's always looked it. I was surprised Spurs let him go.
I don't read your articles now, let alone 2 years ago.
I know, but I just wanted to point out I was right about it.
But he went from Spurs. Oh, Spurs were in for him, right?
Yeah, sorry.
From Norwich to Leicester.
Why didn't? Hang on.
Because you said you don't believe Spurs let him go.
Yeah, wasn't it Spurs
no,
as a kid?
I'm not sure. I don't know because he went to Norwich to Leicester, and Leicester paid 30 million for him, right?
No, it's Coventry. I was thinking it was somebody. What did I think? Who was I thinking of that was that Spurs let go? Fuck. Can't remember. Yeah. Well, Spurs were trying to sign him. That's what I was thinking of, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. I think that's. You're right. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. That's where I was getting mixed up because he started at Coventry before he went to Norwich.
So you think he's definitely got what it takes?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because Spurs. That's because Spurs wanted him to replace Eriksen. That's what I was thinking of.
Gotcha.
And for some reason regular? They didn't. I think so. He has to be. You build the team around him. He's name a better player England have got in midfield. For that role.
I was reading an article about him that they were saying that he was. He may not be the quickest midfielder in the world, but he's got speed of thought in his mind.
Exactly. Dalglish was slow, but he was still miles ahead of most players. Cruyff,
phenomenal
another
player.
One. People used to think Cruyff was quick, but he'd tell you himself he wasn't fast at all. He was just always ahead of everybody else because he was moving first.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, the movement was quick. Yeah. What's Maddison's best position? Do you think?
Central attacking midfielder.
Right. Okay. Not a central midfielder, and an attacking midfielder. Yeah.
He definitely needs to be given freedom. If Leicester had only managed to keep hold of Kante, be up with him.
Something else, eh?
Mm. He's got great free kicks as well. His delivery from dead balls is excellent. Going to be a bit of a fight between him and Trent over who takes the dead balls for England in the future.
Gotcha. You think he'll give Leicester another season this season and they'll be off next season?
Oh yeah, he's there for another season.
They reckon he's Man United bound.
Why would he want to go there though? I don't get it.
No, I don't. Yeah.
I can see why Man United would want him. They should have bought him this summer. But I can't see why he'd want to leave Leicester right now for Man United. I could see why he'd want it. Might do if they settle down and sort themselves out. Why he'd want to make to the bigger club with a bigger ground and all that. But they need to settle down and sort themselves out first. And would you really want to play in a team when you're playing like Maddison? Would you really want to play alongside Pogba? Going to get in each other's way.
I just can't believe that a club of Man United's magnitude, size, and standing in world football are in the shambles they are in momentarily. I mean,
it's easy done. We were the same for a while after Dalglish left. We were in a similar mess.
But we didn't have the resources that Man United. It was a different era, and we had plenty of money. But Moores and Robinson. Robinson was like still stuck in the 60s, still in their corner shop mentality, and then Moores wasn't willing to spend to enhance the brand and commercialise like Man United did. That's the only reason. It's not because we couldn't have. We could have competed with Man United financially back then, but we chose not to. Man United are the biggest club in the world, supposedly, right?
Yeah.
Why have they got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in charge, and why can't they sign a player for love nor money who's any good? Well, it just baffles me that
to be fair, they did get Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Well, he wasn't exactly he was going from Crystal Palace to Man United. It's a no-brainer. But what I'm saying is, they should have the best people in the best positions. They should have one of the best managers in the world. They should have one of the best recruitment team in the world.
They're not organised properly.
Coaches.
They've lost.
This is why. Why?
Because they've lost someone who ran everything. In Ferguson. Once you've lost him, and at the same time they let the other guy go, whose name completely escapes me.
Gil.
Yes, at the same time. They let the two of them go who ran everything. Sorry, I should have said the two men who ran everything at the same time.
Right.
It should have been one go, replace the other. You know what I mean? One go, replace him, then let the other go. Once it's replaced and it's all settled in place, then you let the other go. But instead they swapped both, and it's just they've never replaced them. They can't, because they brought in Edward Woodward, who can't replace Gill to save his life. And the jobs Ferguson did, well, it's too big a club now. You know,
Edward Woodward can't even replace his socks, let alone David Gill.
He's a proper merchant banker, though. Literally.
Proper. I mean, why don't they fire him? Why is he?
He's only there because he was the one that brokered the deal in the first place for the Glazers to buy it.
So he just curries favour. That's why he's in that position.
No, he was literally the man who brokered the deal. He's the merchant banker, and I mean merchant banker is in the job role, not the euphemism.
So
he was the merchant banker who brokered the deal for Man United to be bought by the Glazers. Yeah, so they love him. He's their mate.
But then, wow.
I was going to say it'd be like me sacking you, but I wouldn't hesitate for a second to sack you if the chance long, so maybe not.
Mate, I've got more pride.
The moment you got a job under me, the first thing my finger would be hovering over that exit button straight away.
You'd be my bitch, mate, so there's no chance of that. Mate, Harry Wilson, footballing god.
Something like that.
Oh well, mate. I think that
Welsh wizard.
I think we've
the new
Welsh
Ryan
wizard.
Giggs, whatever. Yeah,
that's the one, mate. Yeah. So I think we can safely assume that you're not a fan then.
No, I can't see him making it at Liverpool unless he bucks his ideas up and actually puts in some effort.
Yeah. Maybe you just need the Blue Peter badge, mate.
Yeah, true. Free kicks are great, and I know, but we should be looking at the other parts of Beckham's game as well as the free kicks. The work rate.
Right. At that juncture, I think it's a good time to say adios.
Yeah, great time, because I need a pee.
All right, then. Love you and leave you, and see you same time next week.
Probably not. I doubt if anybody's going to listen again, are they?
We've alienated the one person that actually listens.
And they only listened because they couldn't understand the bloody word we said anyway.
I bet people just listen to this just to fall asleep. I have no doubt.
Well, I would. If I was going to listen, this would be something I'd put on to send me to sleep. As soon as your voice starts, I'd just go...
Yeah, mate, we should put this on the App Store as a sleep aid.
Yeah.
That'll make some money, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah. It's got to be worth it, right? You do realise we're still recording this, don't you?
Fair enough. All right, mate.
All right.
Stop.
I'm going to stop it now then. Are we finished? Or do you want to go off on another tangent?
No, mate, I'm good.
Okay. Bye-bye, then.
Bye.